Welcome everyone to today's episode of Relive the Magic. I'm your host, Dallas Thompson, and today I am joined by Alex Storis. And today we're going to be talking about a multitude of things, from movies to theme parks to trailers to pretty much everything. We have a ton of topics to talk about, but first I want to invite you over to our YouTube page. We are Relive the Magic on YouTube, same on Spotify if you want to subscribe to our podcast. You can follow us on Twitter as well at RTM Magic Podcast. If you want to send in a question, topic, comment, you can leave a super chat, leave a comment on our video, or you can go to streamelements.com/relivethemagic/tip. And with that, let's get on to the show. All right, so our first topic today is from the Disney parks in Florida, something that has been around for several years, ended this week. Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom, for those of you who don't know, was a game. It was a card game where you would basically get this free stack of cards at the front of the park, and then you could go around and use them at virtual portals throughout the park. And they became like a collector's item, and it became a pretty popular thing to do in the park. And I played it once or twice, but not too often. But they have discontinued that, and with that, this week, they redid the Magic Kingdom guide map because it included where like the portals were, I'm pretty sure. But with that, they also took off the Monsters Inc. laugh floor was taken off of the park maps, which is interesting considering it's currently closed just temporarily, at least hopefully, because I enjoy that attraction a lot. But that was taken off, and permanently the card game was shut down. And even it was located, like the main headquarters was located in the firehouse at the front of Main Street. That has currently shut down for now as they make way for whatever is next. But whatever's next will probably be in the form of a mobile game as opposed to giving out cards and stuff. But I got to play that several times, and I always enjoyed it, and it was cool to always get the collectible cards. Like at the Halloween and Christmas parties, they would always hand out free exclusive cards that were just for the parties. I mean, they would always end up on eBay and stuff, but they were cool to have, even if you didn't play the game. So it is a little sad to see that go. Alex, did you ever play this game when you came out to Florida, or do you know anything about it?
Honestly, no, because I haven't been to Florida in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I haven't got a chance to check it out. But what it seems like, from what I've heard from other people, and I mean, it's pretty cool. It's like theme parks don't give up. They always try to create new interactive experiences and stuff.
Yeah, it was cool. And it was free things they gave out, the cards. So that was cool. But beyond that, I think it was probably time to retire it. It's been around for at least probably 5, 6, 7 years at this point. So I'm sure people will miss it, but it wasn't all that popular. It was mainly just, at least from what I saw, mainly just popular to get the free cards and then go.
Maybe we'll see some new interactive game or experiences when, let's say, when they release Marvel or anything.
Yeah. Well, for this experience, they've already said they'll be replacing it, but it'll more than likely be a replacement that's focused on their mobile apps, because they have the Play Disney Parks app now, and they're trying to focus more on that. But I hope they do more things like they don't have to stare at your phone screen because it's kind of not a fun thing to do when you're in the parks. I'd rather be doing stuff in the park, not on my phone. But whatever they come up with, I'm sure will be fun, and that experience will be missed. All right, and our next news topic is a little bit of a bigger one. It's relating to the world of movies, and specifically trailers. We had a couple of trailers come out in the last few days that we're going to be talking about here. But the first comes from Warner Bros. And HBO Max. The long-awaited trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong, kind of the big culmination of the MonsterVerse, as they've been calling it, with Godzilla and King Kong. The trailer for that has finally come out, our first look, and the internet kind of went crazy for it. honestly, I'll be honest with you. Before this trailer, I didn't really care about this movie. I've liked the Kong movie, and I thought the Godzilla movies were okay, but I wasn't super excited for this. I mean, of course, I planned to see it, and I saw this trailer though, and it made me pretty excited. Looking forward to this movie to come out in a couple of weeks. Um, but Alex, what are your impressions on the film so far, just from this first trailer, and what were your reactions when you first saw it?
Um, I mean, honestly, I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, um, I did like the first Godzilla. Second Godzilla was pretty decent. The Kong film was great. I
Yeah, I
I
liked
thought
Kong.
Kong was cool, and I liked the actors in that movie in the film, like did their part and stuff, and how like it's there was like no surprise. It's just it's a cinematic, it's a big cinematic film like throughout two monsters battling each other. So yeah, it's why not? That's it'll be interesting to see this whole new remake and stuff
Yeah, I mean,
because there's an original one, black and white.
yeah, I mean, it looks exactly like what you would expect it to look like. Um, Two giant monsters fighting each other. Um, it's not going to be like Best Picture or anything like that, but it'll be very entertaining. And it's kind of a shame to me that they have to release this on HBO Max. I know it's going to theaters too, but by releasing it in theaters and on HBO Max, a large majority of people will not go see it in theaters when this movie was clearly designed to go see in a big theater and IMAX and stuff like that. So I may still try to go out and see it in like a Dolby theater. But um, do you think this film will suffer at all? Uh, like, do you think the watching it for the audience will be not as good as it would have been if we could have all gone to see it in a big theater together? Because with these movies, it's kind of all about the experience, and a lot of
um,
people will be just watching it on their TV screens.
I mean, like I know it's like again it's usually a tough time, but then it'll be kind of like it'll feel different. Like I know moviegoers out there like always love being immersed watching cinematic film in theaters on the big screen, but with like with just I think it'll just be like it'll just okay, all right, the release date, here you go, watch it now, digital.
Mm-hmm.
um I think it's not going to be as hype. It won't be much of a big hype, but it'll be decent, like something just to enjoy. Movie's a movie nowadays. If you can come up with anything, like any idea you have, just just do it. So I I feel grateful what comes out in the end.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'd rather us get it now than have to wait another year or two for it. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this. I wasn't really looking forward to it at all before this past weekend. So I'm very glad that the trailer was good. The poster is pretty cool too. I'll put it up on the screen now for those of you who haven't seen it. It also looks to me. I have to ask before we move on. It looks to me like Kong has a bit of an advantage over Godzilla, at least in this trailer, and I think that might be on purpose. I'm pretty sure they'll probably release a trailer showing Godzilla looking like he's gonna win. But are you on Team Kong or Team Godzilla, or do you really care at all?
I'm Team Kong.
Yeah, me too. Um, I don't know if that means he'll necessarily win, but it's who I'm pulling for. I'm pretty sure in the end, I don't think there will be a clear winner. I think kind of like Batman versus Superman or Civil War. I don't think they would have a clear winner, but I also don't know that for sure. But I guess we'll have to see. Also, before we move on, this
It's like it could be like it could be a hit or miss. But I mean, also be interesting because like nowadays, like like the film industry gets bored, but they'll come up with something like they're just reliving that childhood, reliving, like rebranding, redefining, those elements.
and earlier today, it's worth mentioning that this film got pushed back a little bit. It had just recently been moved from May to March 26th, I believe, 25th. But it just got moved to Wednesday, March 31st. And that is rumored to be because supposedly the release date of the Zack Snyder Justice League Snyder Cut will be that day that this was supposed to come out on March 25th. And they didn't want to release both at the same time. So we'll have to wait about 5-6 more days, which if that's the case, that's fine with me. We're getting more content, so that'll be great. But overall, I'm looking forward to this movie and looking forward to seeing it on HBO Max or in theaters, whichever I end up getting to see it. I'm sure it'll be great, and either way, it'll be the same movie. But when it comes out, we'll, of course, talk about it more, give our thoughts and reviews, and yeah. And our next topic goes back to the theme parks, specifically this time Universal Orlando. And this is just a quick thing. Yesterday, or 2 days ago now, I guess, actual human people were spotted riding the new Velocicoaster attraction at Islands of Adventure. For those of you who don't know, that is the new Jurassic Park roller coaster being built at Islands of Adventure. It's supposed to open this summer, but it's pretty much complete at this point. They're just installing like exterior things like I don't know if they're animatronics or just giant statues of dinosaurs, but those are being installed. But as far as the track goes itself, it's done. Obviously, people are riding it. But the people that were on the ride were riding it to film a commercial. And some of the pictures I saw were pretty interesting because you got, they went through a few times with their masks on, like one person per row, spread out. And then they went through again. They filled up the whole coaster with people not wearing masks at all, which of course some people online were a little concerned about, but I'm sure they did whatever they had to do. Got them tested, got them quarantined, whatever they had to do. But that's not really the point of what we're talking about. But yeah, so people are on the ride, which is a really good sign. What?
I said no one throw up. I mean,
yeah.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, I mean, supposedly no. I mean, with people on it, there was a bunch of pictures that came out, videos came out of people from the ground level watching people on it. This ride looks like it'll be pretty intense, pretty fun. Last time I was there, they were pretty far along on it. It's really tall, like really like the big the highest point is pretty tall, and you can see it from all over the park. So this ride will obviously be pretty fun. It'll be pretty popular, I'm sure, and it's supposedly going to open this summer. But where are we? We're in January, and it's pretty much done. So I think we could probably expect soft openings probably in a few months. I would guess probably a little bit after spring break. Season dies down just for the reason of crowds, and they tend to do some pretty long soft opening periods at Universal, but they've also in recent years just kind of opened stuff up without announcing it, so there may not be a soft opening period, but I think there probably will be. And as far as a grand opening, if they're this far along right now, I'm sure it'll be open in time for end of May, beginning of June. Even though they said summer, that's still pretty much summer, but I think it'll be open by then. And yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to riding this attraction. I think it'll be great, and it looks like a lot of fun. What do you think about it from what you've seen?
No, I just I think honestly, it looks great from what I've seen videos of it. It's like the coaster. I do think maybe it could make people throw up. Also, think it'll make some people motion sickness, but that's Orlando for you.
Yeah, I mean they have the whole.
I mean, it's nice to see that
park,
they're expanding the land of Jurassic World. Like they're rebranding Islands of Adventure with the new IP.
Yeah, and they just redid your Jurassic Park ride, right? It's now Jurassic World. Is that true in Hollywood?
Yes, they did. Yep, they have rebranded. It's just a ride.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we still have Jurassic Park, like normal Jurassic Park, so I don't know if they'll change that up considering they have this, but that'll be cool to see. And originally, I'm pretty sure next year Jurassic World Dominion was supposed to come out. I think that's probably been pushed a little bit so that they might not coincide as they once had planned, but Jurassic World Dominion will be a big film bringing back the current stars, past stars of Jurassic World and Jurassic Park franchises, and it's supposed to be a big movie for Universal, but I'm pretty sure the whole point was for the Velociraptor coaster to coincide with that movie, but due to COVID, I'm pretty sure that movie has been delayed a little bit, but I think it is in production right now. Could be wrong on that. But either way, I'm looking forward to seeing both. Again, once that opens, the Velocicoaster ride, we will cover it here. We'll talk about it, review it. And yeah, so I look forward to checking that out. And now we're going to go to Disney World. What were you saying?
I was going to say for Jurassic World 3, yeah, it's going to be released by next year. So it's kind of production.
Okay, cool.
2022, so
yeah. Going over to Disney World now for our next topic. Speaking of not necessarily a new ride at all, actually, but just updating. Yesterday, Disney World, Disney Parks announced that at both actually Walt Disney World and Disneyland in California, they will be not necessarily redoing, but they'll be updating the popular Jungle Cruise attraction at Magic Kingdom and at Disneyland Park to they're going to update it with new jokes. They're going to change the story a little bit, supposedly. They're going to add some animatronics. They're going to add some new scenes. They're just going to update it to be more relevant to today's times and audiences, and remove some depictions that are considered offensive, which I think is good. And it's always good to keep these attractions new and updated, and that's one reason people keep coming back. If they don't ever update anything, it'll get kind of stale. And typically, this is something I noticed. Typically, the theme park or just Disney community in general gets pretty upset about these kind of things. If they're changing a classic attraction, if they're just doing anything to change what is already there, a lot of people get upset because a lot of people just don't like change, or they are scared they're going to mess it up. But Disney has a really good track record, so whenever they do something like this, I'm always like, cool, that's fine. Like Splash Mountain, for example, if they do that, still not convinced they will. If they do that, I think that'll be really cool. But with this, I actually really haven't seen anyone upset about it. Everyone seems pretty on board with it. They have confirmed that this is not related to the upcoming Jungle Cruise movie at all, so there won't be a giant Dwayne Johnson, The Rock animatronic, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean in the future they can't add that if the movie is some sort of $2 billion success, which I don't necessarily think it will be. But yeah, I think this is a good time to update the ride. Not that many people are going to the parks. Disneyland is literally closed right now. But they say this will be done sometime this year, and it's supposedly a pretty significant change. In the last few years, they've done the Jingle Cruise. They've updated it several times, and they've just done a lot more in recent years with Jungle Cruise than they had been before, and it has gained popularity, at least from what I've seen, because now at Magic Kingdom on any given day, pre-COVID and now today, you'll see it with 40, 50-minute waits, which used to not be the case at all, which is cool. That means people are starting to appreciate the attraction more. And I think that'll only continue when they update it to be more modern and relevant to today's audiences. This is also relevant to Disneyland, so what are your thoughts? I've never been on the Jungle Cruise out there, but are you looking forward to this change? Do you not think this is a good idea, or what do you think about this change to Jungle Cruise?
I mean, I'm really excited, like, to see new additions, like new changes to come to that attraction. Although, I mean, I like the old Jungle Cruise a lot better, but I mean, it's doesn't surprise me because Disney is all about doing new things. They all always want to like try to rebrand a certain attraction or create like a new attraction. So I mean, like I'll always support the matters of what Disney's always doing because again, like they're always very innovative.
Yeah, I mean, every at least every time that I've heard people get outraged over something like this, it's turned out fine, and the same people go see it when it opens, and they're like, "Wow, that was amazing." Uh, so, I mean, we don't really know much about it yet, so we'll see in a few months, I guess. But another thing I was kind of thinking about is there are a bunch of other rides kind of like this, where they may need to update them soon, and I guess now might be a good time because other than the rides they've already been building, it's probably a better idea not to build huge new attractions in with what's going on in today's world. And it's probably a better time to spend a lot less money updating attractions. So if there was one classic attraction that you think they would do updates to next after this one, do you have any ideas as to what you think it might be? Like anything in Fantasyland, Adventureland?
Maybe like a revamp of Mr. Toad's.
Yeah, that's a good point. For me, I think I'll stick with Disney World because that's what I'm familiar with. I mean, this could go for both, but I think they may try to do another Pirates of the Caribbean redo maybe pretty soon for several reasons.
I would love them to like. Honestly, I like Shanghai's version of Pirates, even though I
that's a
have
really
not
cool ride.
experience, and I know video does not do justice.
Mm-hmm.
But like, oh man, I really want to see it. But like, I could see them like pulling off something like that. The Pirates like creating
Yeah,
new
I mean,
effects, like.
supposedly they're about to kind of reboot the franchise a little bit now that Johnny Depp's kind of not in the picture. So if they're doing that, then maybe they'll take that opportunity to redo Pirates. So I don't know, but we'll see. That's just a guess. And I mean, there's still Splash Mountain on the horizon. Although I keep seeing things that make me think that might not really be occurring, at least not anytime soon, because it just doesn't seem that way. I mean, it could happen in the next few years, but I think Jungle Cruise will be first, and then I think we'll eventually get Pirates redone, and then, yeah, Mr. Toad is a contender. Trying to think of other ones. Peter Pan could use a bit of an update, especially since they're doing the new Peter Pan movie for Disney Plus. That ride could definitely get an update, at least with updated animatronics or nothing too fancy. But yeah, do you have any others that you think?
Like Peter Pan is like one of like the most OG dark ride, but it's still like one of it tops every dark ride in the world. I mean, not in the world, but not in that big one.
Yeah, I mean it's a classic one, so if they do anything to it, they really can't do too much. I would just say, like, give it a bit of a refresh, and that'll be good. But yeah, so Jungle Cruise getting an update, and that should hopefully come in the next couple of months. And again, when it does, we'll talk all about it.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see the progress.
I mean, it could be a very small update, but it seems like it'll be a pretty big one. So, yeah. Supposedly the Jungle Cruise. What?
They'll probably add new animatronics. They're probably gonna add new animatronics.
Yeah, they said at least one, and I think they said a new scene. So we'll see on that. Supposedly, I think the new Jungle Cruise movie was rescheduled to come out this year again. So I'm sure they'll probably try to coincide the releases. But again, it's not the redo is not related to the movie. At least that's what they're telling us. So
as soon as California Park opens, I'm gonna cover it.
yeah, I wonder if it'll be done in time for you guys to just open up and it'll be there. Because if so, you guys will have quite a bit of new stuff. Because I've heard Avengers is pretty much ready to go, or Spider-Man. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yep, and they in other news, here in Orange County, California, they they're opening up dining. So California Adventure you can now dine at the Capitol
Yeah, I saw that.
and dine at downtown Disney. So it's like we're getting close to whatever. Like we're just there.
Yeah,
like,
you're on the way.
First dining, maybe rides, please.
Yeah.
Wishful.
Yeah, hopefully in the next couple months you guys will be back open. And speaking of open, some movie theaters are open, but there's really nothing playing in them that's new. You got Wonder Woman, but everyone's already seen that on HBO Max, and you've got old movies. So really the theaters have been pretty empty. And then some states, some cities, they're not open at all because of restrictions, like California. And so as a result, a lot of studios have been pulling movies this last weekend. Pretty much the whole entire spring slate of movies got pushed to the end of the year or to next year. So currently the next big movie that's slated for theaters only, that's like a big event movie, would be Black Widow from Marvel on May 7th. And there's a big question going around. Is it going to theaters? Is it going just to theaters? Will it go to Disney Plus and theaters? Will it be an upcharge on Disney Plus? Will it be delayed? There's all these questions. But today, a small piece of information came out. It's a good piece of information, I would say. But they came out with the runtime of the film, which is 2 hours and 13 minutes, which is about standard for a Marvel movie at this point. But that to me kind of says
pretty much.
Yeah, that to me says we're getting closer to it coming out, because the last few times it's supposed to have come out, they haven't released that. So that to me is a good sign. Personally, they keep saying they're going to put it in theaters, just theaters, and I don't really believe them. I think they're going to stick to the May 7th date personally, but I think if they do that, they're going to have to do Disney Plus and theaters together, just like they're doing with Raya and The Last Dragon, which we're about to talk about in a minute. They'll probably put it in theaters, and then on the same day, Disney Plus for $29.99, which, they did that with Mulan. They're doing that with this other animated film, and Mulan was not a success. I don't really personally think Raya will be a huge success on Premier Access, but I think Black Widow could be a huge success on Premier Access and or in theaters. So that's what I think they should do. That's what I think they will do. What about you, though? What do you think they will do?
When it comes to Marvel, it's like Marvel builds the hype, so like they already have their fan base. They already it's an anticipated film. Well, one of the anticipated film for like Black Widow fans. So it's like, either or, it'll be pretty big discussion.
Yeah, I mean,
in the coming weeks, coming months.
We've seen WandaVision, how crazy the discussion has been about that. I think if they can put it on Disney Plus, free or paid, I think it'll pay off for them. So we'll see we'll have to find out pretty soon, I guess. So we'll see. I'm not necessarily hoping for both theaters and Disney Plus, but that's what I'm thinking they're probably going to do. So we'll find out pretty soon. All right. And our last news topic for today. Earlier today, the Raya and the Last Dragon released its first full trailer. This film is coming to Disney Plus and theaters in the model I just talked about a second ago. $29.99, just like Mulan. I think that's a bit much. They probably could lower it a little bit. The trailer to me, it looks pretty good. The last few films from Walt Disney Animation Studios have been super solid. I've heard some people comparing the trailer to Moana, but I don't really see that at all. I think it looks really original. I like the different style and tone they're going for with it. I even read that if they didn't change some of the action sequences, this film was almost going to be rated R, which is crazy. I think it'll probably end up with a PG though, because it's a Disney animated film. But yeah, that to me says they're going all out with the action sequences. And to me, the animation looks great as always. The story looks like it'll be interesting. Looking forward to this movie. It's not on my top 10 most anticipated or anything like that, but I'll definitely see it. And this trailer made me more interested in it. It definitely gave more information, because before now they hadn't really given us much information on it. I'm sure the soundtrack will be great. It's a Disney movie. I'm sure there'll be lots of merchandise and stuff like that. So you saw this trailer. What did you think? Where's your excitement level at?
To me, like, I don't watch trailers that often, but I mean, it's, I'm always down for like new Disney, films. So it's like, I would say my hype level would probably be 5
out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch it when it comes out, but it's
But
not.
When it gets, because I know when it gets closer and closer, it's gonna, it's gonna be a lot of. There's gonna be, of course, Disney will hype up.
Yeah, for sure.
Watch it now.
For sure. Yep. And that comes out March. That comes out beginning of March, March 5th. Yeah, on Disney Plus and in theaters wherever that is a thing. So yeah, I'll be sure to check it out, and we'll talk about that when it comes out. All right, so we have one more thing to talk about, kind of our main topic today. It's a few days late now, but that's okay. I mean, it's not next Friday, so it's still relevant. This last Friday, it was week 2 of Wandavision, episode 3. If you'll remember last week, we talked a bit about our theories, our predictions, our thoughts from the first 2 episodes, and today we're going to talk about our thoughts from the 3rd episode, and we'll also talk about how our theories and predictions have maybe changed a little bit, because in this episode it gave us a bit more of an insight as to what is going on, while meanwhile also leaving us with, or at least leaving me with, a lot more questions and a little bit more confused, and it opened the door to a lot more possibilities. So before I share my thoughts, Alex, what were your initial thoughts on the episode? And we're going to go into spoilers, by the way, so you've been warned, but it has been several days now, so you can go into spoilers, but what were your thoughts?
I feel like we're at the point at the series that it's getting serious. It's getting more, like, mysterious, too. Like, okay, like, what's going on with, I'm not going to say anything further, but it's, next episode, this coming up, it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, and
that's all I'm going to say.
I was reading today that the actors have really been hyping up episode 4. They say it's going to have a big perspective shift, which I kind of take as they may not really be in the sitcom style the whole time. They might finally go outside of that little bubble that we saw at the end of the episode, and see from the shield or the sword perspective of things. So the standout part of this episode was the last 10 minutes. Again, we're going to spoilers, so this is your last warning. Basically from when Ultron and Quicksilver were mentioned, from then on, it was pretty intense. And I think throughout the series so far, we've seen that things are not quite right, that there's something wrong. And, there's been lots of theories. Is Wanda doing all this stuff? Is she in control of this reality, or is it someone else, or is it both? And there have been things pointing both ways, but I think that how this episode ends really points to it being Wanda herself. I think she's doing all of it, and I think she knows that she's doing all of it. And I have been thinking she'd probably become an antagonist and villain by the end, and I think that even more now, because she's already kind of becoming that way, as we see her basically kick Geraldine out of the reality Um, what did you think about that scene? And
It's affecting her, like her anger. It's like leading up towards. I feel like it's leading up towards that. Like,
yeah,
it's pretty obvious that she's hiding it from Vision, and
yeah, she straight up lied to him at the end,
yeah,
and she was like, "Where did she
so
go?"
there's gonna be a lot of skeletons coming out her closet towards this direction coming up.
Yeah.
But I'm
What are you saying?
like I'm just saying like if I want to say in this theory that I feel that we could see Doctor Strange appearing maybe in the finale, like as we mentioned in the previous episodes.
Yeah. He, him and Wanda will be in Doctor Strange 2 together also, and I'm starting to think more so that the antagonist of that film might be Wanda herself, which would be crazy. And it could lead. I mean, I don't know if they would end her character necessarily, depending how dangerous she gets, but that would definitely be an interesting take. In this episode, we saw a little bit less of the comedy, and the style of the first two, but I think that's because it was starting to lean more into its dramatic elements. What did you think was up with the stork, the bird that was just walking around? Did you have any idea what that was about?
Not exactly, but it's. I feel like it's definitely it's like a tease. We'll get to know more of next episode.
I think by the end we'll know exactly what that was or why that was there. But for now, it's just kind of like
pretty random, but
yeah,
it's like all these Easter eggs, all these stuff that's popping out. It's all coming in together, and that's how Marvel would do it. Is they want like have just build it up, lead it up to that outcome.
And in the commercial in this episode, once again they mention Hydra again, and so I again think the commercials really don't have anything to do with where the show's going. I think they're just about things that have happened in her past. But it's interesting they keep mentioning Hydra. I wonder if they have something to do with where the show is going. I wonder if it's like Sword is trying to help her and Hydra's trying to cause all this, or maybe they're involved. But we'll find out in a few episodes. And so we can talk predictions for next week. What do you hope we see in the next episode? What do you think we'll see in the next episode? And yeah.
For one, let's see. I had this idea, like I feel like we could see, like I predict that, well, Vision of course is going to be very like questioning Wanda a lot.
I mean, he's already questioning everything now, so
I do think that in the next episode, because let's see, it was taken in the 70s, correct? So we're moving on towards like late 80s, right? Like 1979. Yeah,
it'll be 80s.
I think we could see a little bit of Hydra coming.
Yeah, it'll be
because
80s.
1979. That was a part year in the Marvel universe. 1979. Do you remember?
Yeah.
You recall?
Yeah. It should be around that time, but also they did say it'll be changing. It'll be shifting a bit, so I wonder how much of that we'll actually see, or if that'll be saved for the episode after. But supposedly this will be a different episode with a lot of surprises, and we'll learn a lot more about what's going on. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I do feel like, I could see her as becoming the antagonist. Maybe Vision reality, like her reality or Vision could disappear, and then we'll see like a battle, or we could see I don't know. I mean, at first maybe like Wanda fights, like they kind of like fight, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
Anything can happen. It seems like
Yeah, for sure.
what's happening.
I'll ask this question every week. Do you think Vision is actually alive, or do you think he's just in her head?
I think it's okay. One, I think it's in her head, or two, it's something like another way of communicating with Vision, because
Yeah.
Vision may may still have some, you know,
I think it's
of it.
possible
Like,
she brought him back in a different form because I mean she has magic, so she could have done that. But yeah, as of now, I think the old Vision's dead, but it's possible there's a new one. And yeah, so with that, those are our quick thoughts on episode 3. Join us next week as we talk episode 4 in depth, and I might do a Friday morning, I guess. I might do like a watch party and discussion of episode 4. So stay tuned for details on that.